morning, interweb. It's time for another Answers with Artifexian. As always, you're going to need to watch the last video, otherwise none of this is going to make any sense. Would it be cool to have a present, non-present tense system? Yes, but my only issue with this is that you're going to have to jump through a couple of hoops to make this feel naturalistic. Like, past, non-past systems work because the present and the future, the non-past, are semantically linked. Like, if I say I am washing the dishes right now, that's an action that happens instantaneously but also continues on into the future. There's a tie between present and future. You're going to have to construct some sort of conculture that ties the past and the future, the non-present, together semantically, which is a little bit trickier to do. I guess you could do like notions of cyclical time, etc., but it's not straightforward. But as always, give it a crack, see what happens. You know, I'm not one of those people who say you should not do this, or it does not occur in natural languages, don't do it. Give it a crack, see what happens. If it turns out to be a disaster, chances are you probably learned something, you know? 835. If they're ungrammatical, how would you instead write down these sentences? So this is in reference to this slide from the last video, where Biblioiridium points out that these constructions, because of the way the tense aspect mood system in OA is set up, are ungrammatical. Which begs this question, how would you say these things in OA? I mean, like, these are valid things to want to say. And the answer is, use more words. That is, if you can't say it grammatically, you have to say it periphrastically. So in the case of, say, I used to be allowed to run, you might have to say something like, in the past, they would regularly let me run. Something like that. To put it in an English context, something like, I will run regularly every day, is a nice periphrastic workaround in the future, given that past habituality, used to, cannot be applied to the future. Same basic deal is going on in OA. 433, that was totally a rolled R. I wish it was the rolled R I was after, but it's not. I can do the uvular trill, ra, a ra, really easily because it's a feature of German, or at least German in the area where I grew up. The rolled R I cannot do is the Spanish rolled R, the alveolar trill. So this word in Spanish, I just cannot pronounce, and it makes me really sad. How do you develop verb suffixes? Like, where does that ram thing come from? I don't get how to, quote, make these. So for the most part, you kind of have two choices. If you're not that concerned with naturalism, you can just make up the suffixes as is. It's fine. If you do want to be more naturalistic and to simulate how natlangs evolve, do what Biblioiridium says in the video, derive it from a lexical source. That is, maybe in an earlier version of your language, there was some word that conveyed habituality. A word like, you know, regularly, often, that kind of thing. And so derive your habitual suffix from that word. The idea being that that word over time slowly lost its lexical meaning and became grammaticalized. Could a conlang have different grammatical moods corresponding to the different emotions of the speaker? As in, is he saying the thing angrily, happily, surprised, etc.? So this question was asked and answered on my subreddit, but I thought it was a really good question that I chose to put it here too. Personally, I see no evolutionary need for emotional moods, so to speak, to evolve in language, because things like anger, surprise, sadness, that sort of thing, can be expressed really well with body language, cadence, and tone. Oh my god, it's him. Oh my god, it's him. Oh my god, it's him. That said, a very astute Redditor made the point in that thread that as language moves towards text as opposed to speech, there may be some need for emotional mood markers. Maybe not necessarily like grammaticalized mood, but there certainly needs to be something. And as they pointed out, emoji is kind of fulfilling that role. Like, text communication on the internet is very emotion poor. So you have to say things like, oh my god, it's him, angry face. Oh my god, it's him, sad face. Oh my god, it's him, smiley face. And I just think that's a really cool way in which, you know, the internet is molding our communication. And I just thought I'd put it here. Anyways, that was that. Until next time, Edgar out.